Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and for your interest in Intellias. My name is Steve Birmingham, Vice President of Sales and Marketing here. With me today is Chad Mitchell. I'll be passing over to Chad in just a few minutes. He'll present on some of the many key features as well as providing a live demonstration of the software. Today we will be introducing you to our Benefit Addin software and how this product will help your organization simplify the Infor Lawson online benefit enrollment. This webinar is being recorded and available for anyone that wishes to view the replay. We will be providing you the link via email. Additionally, should you require further information, we can provide either a tailored conference call or online WebEx demonstration of the software for you and those within your organization. So let's proceed. For today's presentation, we'll have a general overview or introduction to our organization and the Benefit Addins product, followed by a deeper look into the many features and benefits. And finally, we will present a live demonstration. We've also created a chat window. If you have any questions, feel free to add those questions to there. We'll be answering any questions after the webinar, replying via email or phone call. So let's learn a little about Intellias. We are a leading provider of web applications for the Infor Lawson community. We have specialized in delivering applications that help organizations save time and money by creating greater efficiencies. We're based out of Dallas, Texas, have been in business since 1999. We are an Infor Alliance partner, so in addition to our software, we also offer a full array of Infor Lawson services, including technical services, for example, IPA, configuration console, or the upcoming ADFS move. We help with Infor Lawson upgrades, can assist in the cloud, as well as application consulting. Although we're presenting today on Benefit Addins, on our software side, we're not limited to solutions solely in this area. We have developed applications to help organizations that run payroll, financials, procurement, and or supply chain through our additional software products. The last note I want to mention before we move forward is to let you know we're proven on both the product and delivery side. We're fully referenceable and back our solution with 100% guarantee of your satisfaction. The next slide talks about what Benefit Addins is. Well, it's an Infor Lawson enhancement product that fills requirement gaps of complicated benefit enrollments. This plugin tool provides a user-friendly, efficient annual and new hire experience. It's designed to reduce administration and benefit audits required with the vanilla enrollment. Benefit Addins is comprised of an array of modules, 40 to be specific, that can be purchased individually. So as Chad's going through his demonstration, he will be showing you many features, many of which are individual modules. This allows organizations to tailor solutions based on pain points or gaps. So these applications or modules, as they may be referred to, reside on a web server and integrate seamlessly into the Infor Lawson benefit enrollment self-service. It's also important to note this software is both version and platform independent. So why would your organization be interested in implementing Benefit Addins? Next slide, please. For one, you're going to gain an improved user experience. Chad's going to go through that in greater detail. But at a high level, this software will reduce the number of screens by 50%, allow annual users to change only the benefits they want from the previous year, as well as content being tailored, almost customized and pushed through the enrollment specific to your organization's needs. It also reduces back-end audits. And what I mean by that is reviewing data throughout the database for accuracy, making it a true time saver. It also will reduce your benefit administration and can be implemented in a very little time. Based on the number of modules purchased, a typical implementation is between 2 to 4 weeks long. Next slide talks about ROI. Obviously very important. This note is here to let you know that Intellias saves organizations time and money on their ERP business tasks. Every one of our clients have reduced their operational costs with our applications, with most realizing a tangible return in under a year. So our customers are saving money in administration tasks of benefit audits due to EOI processing, plan dependencies, dependent verifications, and so on. So on average, a typical benefit enrollment will take you anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes. Our solution can cut this time by 50 to 75%. This next slide will give you a snapshot of some of the many organizations that are utilizing our benefit add-in software. Before I hand it over to Chad, I am just going to highlight one organization that we have at the top, Health Partners. Health Partners is a nonprofit healthcare organization located in Minneapolis. A complicated benefit enrollment setup coupled with 14,000 benefit eligible employees led to multiple issues while they were operating solely within the vanilla environment. And during their first year of online enrollment, it resulted in 7,000 plus related issues handled by the support desk. So they realized gaps in their process and turned to us. And upon implementing benefit add-ins, an immediate return on investment was realized. The support desk issues the following year dropped to less than 100, and the amount of time each user spent inside the enrollment decreased from an average time of 45 minutes down to under 15. So again, thank you for joining us today. I will hand it over to Chad Mitchell now.
Great, thanks, Steve. I'm going to go over highlights of some of the most popular modules, and then what we'll do is go into a demonstration, live demonstration, showing a vanilla enrollment versus a one with our benefit add-ins product. So to begin, I'm going to talk about first, we developed a module called pending plans, basically to address a secondary benefit approval inside the application to deal with EOI and also dependent verification. We do this by creating what we call pending plans in the Lawson system. A pending plan, again, is a plan that we set up in the BN15 that doesn't have any contributions tied to it. However, it's a mirror image of an eligible plan. So as the users are going through the enrollment process and they increase their life insurance above underwriting or above a guaranteed issue, then it requires underwriting. What we're going to do is we're going to write what they requested into a pending plan into the Lawson system, and then we're going to also put them back into an eligible plan. So both are recorded in the BN32 and sits there for that secondary approval later. You come back later as a benefit administrator and you can switch that pending plan into an actual eligible plan to make it effective the date that it was approved. Also, we do that for dependent verification as well. So as a dependent, as you add dependents to the system that aren't verified and you increase your coverage level, according like a health coverage level, well, the user doesn't qualify for that coverage level. We're going to pen that election, and then we're going to put them back into what they're eligible for, both sitting inside the BM32. Again, a very efficient way to deal with these two types of requirements without modifying the 4GL or core functionality inside the Infor system, Infor Lawson system. We've also created what we call a dependency module to basically link together the different plans at the plan code level, the option, the amount, and many other variables. And we do that because as you elect something upstream in the enrollment, it might affect something that is available downstream. So we'll actually filter out plans or coverage options according to things that you've elected upstream in the enrollment to make sure that as you go through, you are actually enrolling in the correct plans and committed to the Lawson system. All right. Also, what we've done is create a module called Content Management. This module allows for the publishing of content through all the different pages in the enrollment process, and allows for benefit administrators to do that. So no longer are you having to work with IT to actually move or tell IT what type of code to change inside the enrollment. You can do that as a benefit administrator. Basically go to our very easy benefit designer screen, be able to put the content that you want on whatever screen and publish it out. Very popular module. We have about 95% of our clients actually purchase that one. We've also created what we call a benefit logging and reporting module. This module will log when the users are going into the enrollment, when they actually submit the enrollment, what happens when they submit the enrollment, did it error out, was it successful. It also writes off the enrollment into a secondary data source. So, we're writing out the enrollment to the Lawson database, but then we're also setting it to basically logging an XML logging database so that you can actually pull it up. So if something errors out, you can pull up that enrollment to see what actually happened. All right. We also filter out the coverage levels according to the dependents that you have in the system. So if you don't have, like, for instance, children, we're going to filter out the employee plus child coverage or the employee plus family coverage. If you don't have a spouse, we're going to filter out, the spouse coverage. So we're going to make sure that what we present on the screen as you're going through the enrollment process is only those that you're eligible for. So you're not ending up going into a higher coverage level than you're supposed to and taking deductions out that you're not supposed to. So again, making sure that the users are enrolling in the right things. We also added what we call Keep Change module, and this is an annual enrollment, allowing for those annual enrollment users to go through, see what they currently have, and then select out of what they currently have what they want to change. This is a great time efficiency. Users are now able to get through their enrollments. It used to be like 45 minutes, can now get through enrollments in less than 10 minutes. It will really help your return on investment for the product. We also create what we call screen consolidation and click reduction, reducing the number of screens by 50% going through the enrollment process. So if you are familiar with the enrollment process, you have 5 to 6 screens per election. So if you're going through medical, you got 5 to 6 screens you got to go through. Dental, 5 to 6 screens. And it quickly adds up. And so what we have done is done what we call screen consolidation and remove additional screens that aren't necessary to get that down to about 50% of the number of screens. Great user improvement. We've also added what we call a front-end proxy, so it allows for a user to proxy in as any other users going through the enrollment process, and it really helps with troubleshooting and help desk, and then also for testing purposes. Also, since we've created that benefit approval application or a secondary approval with the pending plans to address evidence of insurability, we have what the user requested, we have what the underwriting is. We can now auto-populate that EOI form that the carriers provide and present it to the user and allow them just to fill out the medical information and send it in. Again, another user improvement. We've expanded out the descriptions of the plans and coverages from 30 characters to 300, so you don't have to get all cryptic with your naming conventions. You can actually just spell out what their users are going into in the enrollment. What we've also done is create what we call an admin reprint application or employee reprint bookmark to allow for annual enrollment to go through and click a bookmark and reprint their enrollments. Also, as users are going through the enrollment process, we take that opportunity to capture additional information. For instance, beneficiaries. We'll actually capture the spouse employment, and then if the spouse is a working spouse and offered health insurance elsewhere, then we can actually apply what we call surcharges to the actual spouse in an effort to push the spouses to their own insurance as a cost-saving measure. A lot of clients are doing that. We've also created what we call a customized benefit confirmation screen, serve that up as a PDF to the user at the end in an email. Address update with address validation, capturing the addresses you're going through, making sure it's correct. It's a great time to do that since you have a focused employee base. And then also pulling in default coverages in the enrollment as well, because you want to give your users a comprehensive view of all the benefits that they're getting, not just the elected ones. Also, we work with clients in expanding the life event functionality. We call it also work events as well. So Lawson has its core 7 life events that they have. We've expanded it to this list. And with each one of these events, we will then go through and enforce the rules of being able to increase or decrease coverage levels according to the event that you're going through. So the core vanilla Lawson allows you to add, change, or stop benefits according to the event. We further that functionality to restrict the increasing or decreasing coverage levels according to the event that they're going through. And then also what we're doing is preventing or adding, we're either allowing for adding or dropping dependents from plans according to the event itself. So when we typically do a life event engagement with our clients, we'll have them fill out a matrix that basically dictates per event what they want their employees to be able to or not be able to do. So you can see on this one, on this marriage one, they don't, well, of course, you don't want to allow them to drop the spouse coverage. On legal separation, you don't want to allow them to add spouse coverage. So as we get this information, then we will enforce all the different additional rules of increasing, decreasing coverages, and adding or dropping dependents from plans. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a side-by-side demonstration of the enrollment. I'm going to show a vanilla enrollment on the left. And then what I'm also going to do is show a benefit add-ins version on the right. It'll give us a good comparison of the two types of enrollments. So I'm going to click on Proxy. And Proxy is going to launch a new window, and it's going to allow me to now proxy in as the same employee and be able to see the differences. So the first clear difference you see is just the basic content. The content on the left, the vanilla, can be modified by somebody in IT. They have to modify files on the web server and push those out. The ones on the right, it can be modified by a benefit administrator, and all they do is click the benefit designer bookmark. I'm going to pull that over. Once they click on the benefit add-in designer, then they have a number of options, and one of those options, if you look here, is the content management. So you can see here's all the options of all the different modules that we are within the benefit add-in suite. One of them, again, is content management. Within the content management, you have the ability to push content to all the different screens in the enrollment. So here we got the Ben Bulletin screen. That is actually the welcoming screen. And you can actually push content by attribute. So with the attribute that we have here is employee group. So I'm going to go to the default setting, and you can see here we have content in that little notepad. So click that notepad. It's going to pull up that content in HTML. So we got the HTML. Now, if you're scared of HTML, don't fear. We have a very easy editor that you can actually just type your information in, just like a Word document, and then it'll format it into HTML to make it look all nice and pretty. So this content over, that is in this window is what is being displayed in the right-hand side here. And again, each page is earmarked with the ability to push that content by all sorts of attributes. Go ahead and hit back here. I'm going to go ahead and minimize the benefit designer now and continue my side-by-side comparison. All right, go ahead and hit continue, and I'll hit continue here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the user on the right through an acknowledgement screen. This is one of the modules, and it's just an acknowledgement. The content can be delivered via the content management. It is going to allow us to time, date, stamp the system when the user acknowledges the corporate policies of going through the enrollment process. Go ahead and hit continue. The user then is presented with address screen, so you can update your address. And any address changes here is going to be validated via the USPS system. So we tie that in. And then I get to the dependent maintenance screen. So this is the Intellias maintenance screen. On the left is the Lawson maintenance screen, dependent maintenance screen. The difference is here is if I click Add Change, I have the ability to upload documents and attach those documents to the dependent. And this will really help in the verification process to be able to capture those documents when the dependent is added. That's one clear difference between Lawson's ESS dependent maintenance screen and the Intellias maintenance screen. Now, as you can see, I only have a spouse in the system, so I'm going to show how that affects the enrollment process. Go ahead and hit Continue. And this is the enrollment order, so we'll go ahead and hit Continue here as well. And then we get to the current benefits screen. The current benefits screen, again, is something displayed to the user. Hey, these are the current benefits you have in the system. What we've done with this is add what we call the Keep Change functionality module, and it really facilitates annual users going through the enrollment process. It allows them to select out of what they currently have those benefits that, which ones they want to change. If a benefit is required for changing every year, it'll be checked and grayed out, so the user can't uncheck that. So you can see the health savings account is being checked. A couple other ones are also being checked for various reasons. So I'm going to go ahead. Now, if I don't check box this, what it does is automatically keeps that benefit for me. So it really allows me to go through the enrollment process a lot quicker. I'm going to go ahead and select HSA Medical. I want to change that. I'm also going to change a couple other plans, Supplemental Life and Spouse Life. Now, if you're in the vanilla world, you basically have to go through the election process of all these benefits. If you're in the benefit add-ins, it's going to skip through those benefits that you don't want to change. So again, we're wanting to change HSA Medical for both. And you can see, again, some clear distinctions between the two enrollments. One, we're pulling in all the different coverage levels and options and everything all into the current benefit screen, the medical screen, again, giving the user a comprehensive view of all their options. I'm going to go ahead and make a change here. And also going to do a change here as well. And what you're going to see, again, some clear differences. This is our consolidation module. It basically consolidates all the available plans with all the coverage options all in one screen. If you're in the vanilla world, you actually have to drill into each one of these to see the options. Again, we're going to present them all in one screen, and we're going to filter out those coverage options that don't pertain to the user. So you can see the employee plus family and employee plus children are filtered out of this the election process. But if you're in the vanilla world, let me go PPO Medical, you can see that I have all four options. And as a user, I could, as a spouse, click family, and it'll just go on its merry way. I've gone into a higher company cost and employee cost than I should have. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to select PPO Medical as well here. Now, I'm currently in HSA Medical, so I'm going to switch to PPO Medical. What you're going to see on the right-hand side, the Benefit Addins version, it's going to automatically waive my HSA for me, all right? On the left-hand side, it's going to allow the user to either waive or go into that election process because they're not tied together with any dependencies. Go ahead and hit Continue on both. And what you'll find this next screen, this is a screen that we will typically remove if we're not capturing additional information. However, in this demonstration, I'm capturing some additional information. I'm capturing the primary care physician information. I'm also capturing the working spouse information. So I'm asking if the spouse works, and if they do work, are they offered health insurance? I'm going to say yes on this one. So my spouse is currently employed and eligible for benefits through their company. And in that particular case, what we've done is then we will automatically apply a surcharge. We also have what we call tobacco certification as well inside the medical election, or we can put this wherever you want, dependent upon, dependent upon the client. And so what we're doing here, we're going to say that we have used tobacco, and by answering the questions this way, what's going to happen is we're going to automatically apply surcharge plans to this particular individual. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and I'm automatically going to put them into a surcharge spouse plan. So you can see I'm a working spouse surcharge plan. It's going to be an extra $28, broken out individually so the user can see, as they answer those questions, what that will affect. We're also going to charge them a tobacco usage at the employee level, and we're going to charge them a tobacco usage at the spouse level as well. And then what's happening is it automatically kept my dental and it automatically kept my vision for me because I said that I did not want to change those. And what it's going to do is it's going to stop on employee life. So you can see we have stopped on employee life because we said we wanted to change. Now, in the left-hand side, the vanilla version, I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And now what's going to happen is the user would be presented with the surcharge options. Now, you probably can't do the surcharge functionality without all of our functionality because you don't really want the user to be able to choose if they're going into a surcharge or plan or not, because they would effectively always waive it unless you get the honest ones. And so I'm going to go through this and just go ahead and act and just waive all this and get caught up to the one on the right. Now what you'll see after this screen is I will be actually offered HSA. Now, you wouldn't want to do that for your typical users because if I elect a low-deductible medical plan, I want to automatically waive HSA for the user. I don't want them to actually have to decide if they're going into an HSA account because what they could do is they could go low-deductible medical plan and then elect an HSA account, and now they've kind of broken the rules of the organization. So I am effectively breaking those rules now. And this intermediate confirmation screen, again, is a screen that we get rid of as part of our effort to consolidate and click reduction. You can see here I'm going through dental now. I'm just going to go ahead and keep my dental. And again, I'm trying to catch up to the one on the right. And I'm going to keep my vision. And now I'm caught up. Now we're going to go ahead and select a different plan here. Or I'll just change the coverage. Let me just go ahead and change the coverage. Make a change here. I'm going to go supplemental life. You can see I got content coming in on each one of these screens. That's all being brought in from the content management module. And now what I see is I have two different, the coverage levels. Now we have custom content coming in here from the content management. Now here we got a current coverage level of 50,000. Anything above that requires underwriting. So actually anything above one level increase requires underwriting. So I can actually go to 100,000 without underwriting, but anything else requires that evidence of insurability. On the one on the left, it's just going to allow me to go into 200,000 and start deducting $10.89 out of the user's paycheck immediately, even though they're not eligible for it. The one on the right, what we're going to do is we're going to put the user into that eligible plan, and then we're also going to put them into a pending plan. That pending plan, again, is something that doesn't have any contributions tied to it, so we're not taking any deductions out. Go hit 200. Go continue on that one. Now, again, you can see I got that intermediate confirmation screen on the left. However, on the one on the right, skipped right through. If I'm not capturing additional information, we're skipping it. Now I'm going to select AD&D. In this particular case, the amount of AD&D has to match your employee life. And this is part of our dependency module for this particular customer. If I don't select the right amount, it's going to warn me. It's going to say this coverage level, you got to select an equal to 4. All right. Again, the rules for this organization is the amount of AD&D has to match the employee life. If you're on the left, there is no matching at the coverage level, and so you can see that you can make that mistake as a user. Now I'm stopped by spouse life. I'm going to go ahead, make a change. You can see our pending plans coming through there. They're actually filtered in our version. We don't want the user to actually elect a pending plan unless they're eligible for it, or we're going to put them in it. So here's another difference between the benefit add-ins. In particular cases, we remove the functionality of the user having to actually key in these increments, as it's become a nuisance for a lot of clients. Because if you don't key in the right increment, you're going to get that error message. So what we've done is create what we call the radio buttons next to the coverage amounts and totaling up the pay period cost for the user so they can see the total cost it's going to be. I'm going to go 50,000. The underwriting rules on this one is you can go up one level without underwriting. So they currently have waived, so they're eligible for 5,000. We're going to put them into a pending plan of 50,000 here in just a minute. Now you can see the one on the right. We're automatically waiving. We'll automatically waive child life for the user. They don't have it. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and do spouse AD&D. Now the rules for this organization is spouse AD&D has to match spouse life. So you can see that's my only option, 50,000. And we'll go ahead and select a different, actually yeah. And there's nothing to enforce that spouse AD&D matches, so, you know, as a user, I might make that mistake. And then I'm going to confirm, so you can see the number of screens that you have to go through in the enrollment process. We've got child life. Even though I don't have child, I still have to go ahead and keep this benefit, waive the spouse, waive the dependent life. And now I'm at FSA. So, you know, we got some custom content coming through. As you can see on the right, we are filtering out the limited FSA out of the system. Since we elected a low-deductible medical plan, we're going to offer up the full FSA. If we went high-deductible medical, then we would filter out the full FSA and give them limited. So, again, with the dependency module, we can enforce all the rules to make sure that nobody's making any mistakes. So I'm going to go full FSA here. I'll go limited. We're going to go ahead and just waive dependent care. And I'm going to go ahead and waive PTO sellback as well in an effort to just get through this first demonstration. Now you're going to see a pre-confirmation screen showing what I've gone through the election process. You can see some differences here. I got the custom content that I can put in for the pre-confirmation screen. You can see here we've gone through, we went loaded up to medical. We're applying the surcharge plans according to how they answer those questions. We're automatically waiving the HSA for the user. We elected a $200,000 coverage level for supplemental life. We're going to put them back into 100 because that's what they're eligible for. And we're also going to put them into a matching AD&D. We're going to put them into $5,000 spouse life, even though I elected 50. We're going to match the AD&D, and then we're going to put them in full FSA. We're also going to break this out into a pending section below and show them, hey, this is what you elected in a pending plan. So we're going to put them in a pending plan of $200,000 fund the supplemental life and AD&D, and then $50,000 supplemental life or for spouse life and spouse AD&D. Break out a nice looking dependent table, show them what their dependents are going to be enrolled in. On the one on the left, you can see there's a number of mistakes with this complex enrollment. You know, I went to loaded deductible medical. However, I elected a health savings account. I went loaded deductible medical, and I selected family. There was no check there. Supplemental life, I went straight to $200,000. AD&D, I didn't match. Spouse life, I went to $50,000, even though I don't qualify for it. AD&D, I didn't match, and then I went to limited FSA. So a number of mistakes could be made through this enrollment process, which would require all sorts of, auditing on the back end for your organization. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit continue here. Commit this to the system. And then what we're going to get is a confirmation sent as a PDF. The following window looks very similar to that. And, we have custom content that we can push on that, the custom confirmation window. Then we have this table layout, pre-tax, after-tax company costs, breaking out the pending plans into a separate section, what requires underwriting, that secondary approval, the totals for the eligible. And then what we have is a table showing what dependents are enrolled in what. So again, and we're going to send this out as a PDF. You can also see this print EOI form button. You can click that. It's going to pull up the PDF and fill out the form for the user, all the guaranteed issues, the requested amount, what requires underwriting, all the demographic, just making it easier for the user just to enter their medical. I'll show an example of that in just a minute. All right. So if I go ahead and look at the BS31. And these are the benefits that were committed to the system. You can see here we got the pending plan for spouse life is at LFSE. We're writing that as $50,000. We're putting $5,000 into an eligible plan. And then what we're doing the same on employee life. We got the pending plan for $200, eligible plan for $100. So, all right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show another demonstration, some other key features, showing another enrollment. So I'm going to go ahead and click another proxy. We'll go. All right. And again, I'm going to be introduced on the welcome page. All that content can be modified or changed via administrator. And then what I got is the acknowledgement screen, date, time stamp, when the user accepts it and goes through. And then I got my dependent maintenance screen. Here is a clear distinction between the other ones. We have what we call a verified column here. So that dependent has been verified. The other two have not. And then what you're going to see is how the application is affected when the dependent isn't verified. Also have some additional information we're capturing, if the dependents are smokers or not. And then I'm also capturing it at a global level if the employee is a smoker. All right. Got the enrollment order you can see there. Go ahead and continue. Then I get my current benefits screen. So I'm going to say that I want to change this one and this one, supplemental life. So here I'm going to go ahead and select a different plan. And so I have I have regular employee plans, and I got tobacco plans as well. So, if I selected an employee plus family plan, I wouldn't be able to select my one spouse that is a smoker. So you actually just kind of enforces the user to elect the appropriate coverage level so that they're able to elect all their dependents. I'm going to go employee plus family tobacco. So and I'm going to go ahead and answer that my spouse has medical coverage through their employer. And so what this is going to do is it's going to automatically, again, apply that surcharge plan functionality. So it's going to apply $28. And then employee life. So I'm going to go ahead and change the coverage here. And I currently have 50,000. Anything above that one level requires underwriting. So I'm going to go to 198, but I'm going to put the user back into the 99,000. You'll see that in just a minute. Now what you can see here is I'm automatically keeping my other plans, and then I'm stopping on any other plans that need the election. So I currently don't have a dependent life election. And then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to make sure that the user elects all beneficiaries for the plans that require that. It's our beneficiary capture form. And then I'll present them with the pre-confirmation screen. So this is, what they elected. Now, bear note, a medical plan, I elected the family tobacco coverage. Well, I only qualify for employee plus one with the dependents that I have in the system. So I'm going to put them into a pending plan of this. However, we're going to also put them into an eligible plan of this. Supplemental life, I went from 50,000 to 198. I'm going to put them into an eligible of 99, and I'm going to put them into a pending plan of 198. Break out that table. We'll also show the beneficiaries on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue at this point. And then again, you're going to see the confirmation screen, email. Nice looking table with pre-tax, after-tax company cost columns, tallying up and then breaking out the pending plans as well for that secondary approval. And then also showing a dependent table broken out as well. The user can click on print EOI form. And you can see here, it's all filled out for the user. So the employee name, what they required underwriting, or the GI amount, the requested amount, what requires underwriting. And so the user just has to print this off, fill out the medical, and send it in. Again, in an effort to really speed up the process of getting these forms done, we're going to fill that out for the user. We're also going to send it to as an email as well, so you don't have to just print it. You can actually get it in an email. All right, and then one other module that goes with this one, I'm going to go look at the benefit audit module. That benefit audit module will now record when the users are going into the enrollment process. So you can see this is all the activity for this particular employee. You know, if I wanted to view, I could go and view what was elected in this particular one. So you can see, and this is actually reading from the database. This is reading from a secondary data source of the enrollment. So if it erred out, you would actually see an erred instead of the action. It'd be erred, and you'd be able to view what the user attempted to enroll in. Great way to capture, you know, to troubleshoot those anomalies that happen in the system. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, go back to the BS31. In the little time that we have left, I wanted to demonstrate the Save As You Go module. And that Save As You Go module is a module that allows for employees to go through, you know, partially go through the enrollment process and exit to come back at a later time. And it's a great module. You know, we've heard a lot of complaints over the years that employees would really love to be able to not have to complete the entire enrollment process, because if they exit at any time, they lose everything. They have to go through the enrollment process again. So we have developed what we call Save As You Go. And as you're going through the enrollment process, we're saving off that enrollment, and so you can come back to it at any point and finish it up at a later time. It's been very popular, especially for new hires, with those new hires not knowing what to expect with the enrollment process, get stuck on a question. You know, maybe you have to ask their spouse questions. They're able to exit and then come back at a later time to finish. So what I'm going to do now, I'm deleting out the BS31 records of this particular employee. And let's see. Almost done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through another example as that employee, and then we're going to exit in the middle, and then we'll be able to come back and you can see how the system responds. All right. So let's go ahead and act as this employee again. So I got my welcome screen, acknowledgement screen, address, dependent maintenance, the enrollment order. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say I want to select these two. In this particular example, I'm going to go through HSA. I'm going to do an actual HSA instead of a low deductible medical. So let's go ahead and select HSA medical. And again, I got to answer those questions regarding medical, regarding primary care physician information, and working spouse. In this particular case, I'm going to say my spouse works. I'm going to say I have not smoked. And what's going to happen here is it's going to actually waive those surcharge, the tobacco surcharge. It's going to automatically apply the working spouse surcharge, but then waive the tobacco. So you can see here it's applying the working spouse surcharge plan, automatically waiving the tobacco surcharge plans at the employee and the spouse level, and then it stops on HSA. So now I can actually, so it's not automatically waiving HSA as I did when I went low deductible medical, because I'm going high deductible medical. So now I got my HSA, custom content coming in here, go 5,000. Now I get dental. Now let's just say, oh man, I have questions about dental and I can't finish. I basically save and exit, or if I just close my browser, then at that later time I can come back in. Now Bear note, we ended on dental, so let's go ahead and go back in as that particular employee. You do have to go through the front-end screens. Those are always required. So now I am presented with this screen, and it shows me, hey, we see that you've already started the enrollment process, it's saying. And it's giving you the opportunity to either A, click the Continue button to go to the last election, or click the Start Over button to clear the existing elections and start over. So, we went through medical. It automatically applied the surcharge, waived spouse, health savings account, and now I'm on dental. So, the next process is dental. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Continue now. And what should happen is it should jump to dental, as you can see here. And now I can go through the process of electing dental, vision, all the others. Very similar to what I did before in the election process, but again, that's kind of a demonstration of the Save As You Go functionality. Now, again, we have over 40 different modules filling gaps on all sorts of pieces of the Infor Lawson system, benefit enrollment. We can give you a listing of all the different modules that we provide upon request. And but at this point, I'm going to transfer this back over to Steve for closing remarks. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Chad. Again, for those who had questions, we will respond to you post-webinar via email or give you a call. This does conclude today's presentation. We sincerely appreciate you all joining. Thank you again. Take care.